Welcome to CompSci360, the ultimate virtual summit for MS in computer science in the UK. This two-day summit will give you a 360-degree view around everything related to MS in computer science in the UK, with subject knowledge experts and student mentors from top universities. Before we hear from the expert, we want to walk you through the CompSci community on the Nebula platform, a dedicated space for you to connect with other attendees and build lasting relationships with fellow computer science enthusiasts. Throughout this summit, you will interact with a number of subject knowledge experts, and if you wish to get a personalized one-on-one mentorship session or get your queries addressed, you can book a slot with them by visiting their Nebula profile. We believe that this session will enhance your learning experience and help you achieve your study abroad goals. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope you enjoy the summit.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this panel discussion where we will be discussing the MS in Computer Science curriculum in the UK and how it prepares you for the real world. My name is Namita Murali Narayanan, a community content creator here at Nebula, and I will be your host today. Before we get into our session, I would like to give you a brief introduction to Nebula, CompSci360, and how this panel discussion is going to work. Nebula is a community that helps aspirants eliminate their fears of staying in an unknown land while studying or working, to help them tangibly shape their future without any difficulties. We have created a platform that could help people wandering about. Many highly accomplished immigrant expats push their boundaries, and we have built a very powerful community driven ecosystem that brings people and technology together. Now, CompSci360 is a summit organized by Nebula to help students aspiring to study MS in computer science programs in the UK, and we aim to provide all of you here today the knowledge, resources, and insights you will need to make informed decisions about your education and career in the UK. For this session, please ensure that you are sitting in a quiet area with an undisturbed internet connection. In order for this session to be an interactive one, I would request you all to drop your questions, comments, and doubts in the chat section. These will be addressed by the speaker during the Q&A session at the end of the talk. All right then, without further ado, let me introduce the panelists. Shivaz Sharma, an MSc in Computer Science student from the University of Edinburgh. Sathvik, an MSc in Robotics student from the University of Bristol. And Supritha Konaje, an MSc in Artificial Intelligence student from the University of Southampton. Today, they will be taking us through and sharing their valuable insights on computer science programs in the UK and how it prepares you for the real world. I would like to welcome all three of you.
Yeah.
So to start with, can you each of you take turns and tell us a little bit about your academic and professional backgrounds? Let's start with Supritha.
Hello everyone, this is Supritha Konaje. So I've done my bachelor's from University of Mumbai, and after that I got placed in a company, and there I worked for 3 years. So I was working in and around big data technologies. That's when I got familiar with the world of machine learning and AI. So that's when I decided that I wanted to do my master's, and then I started looking out for options. And then I applied to University of Southampton. I got in, and that's how my journey in UK began.
That's wonderful. Let's hear from Satvik.
So I've done my bachelor's in mechanical engineering in SRM University, Chennai. I've graduated in 2020. I've been planning to come to the UK since 2 years, but due to the pandemic, I wasn't able to. Now I'm here. I'm doing my master's in robotics at University of Bristol. And other than that, I've just had like robotics internships right here and there, but haven't had any professional experience to speak about.
Right. That's great. I hope your studies in Bristol is going well.
Yeah.
And I know pandemic has hit a lot of us terribly.
Yeah.
What about you, Shivaz?
Hi, I'm Shivaz. So I did my bachelor's from University of Delhi back in 2017. Then I have worked as previously I was working as a lead software engineer at Cadence Design System. It is an electronic design automation. So I've already know the background infrastructure and things. but I wanted to like upgrade my skills with machine learning. So I thought of joining, like pursuing my masters. It was a dream. So I thought of coming up with this uh, masters in Edinburgh. It has like quite interesting stuff which is going on, and the research work is like amazing. So that's it, I would say.
All right. Can you repeat how to pronounce the university again? Because I'm pretty
It,
sure I
yeah,
sorted
yeah. It's
it.
Edinburgh. Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. So let's get into the session. My first question for you guys is, how does the MS in computer science curriculum in the UK differ from programs in other countries? As in, we know that UK, most MSc programs in UK are for 1 year, and in other countries it's 2 years. And UK courses focus more on specialities and specializations you choose. How do you say it's different from other countries?
Uh,
Anyone can take up the
yeah.
question.
Actually, I've asked the same question to my professor on the second day or something, but yeah, he actually told me that it's mostly people in the UK who come to study in the UK. They mostly plan to go into the research or get the PhD. So when they come to their masters, it's like they have actually decided their career path, and this is a stepping stone for their PhD. So it's like a prep year for the PhD. So it's mostly in the PhD in the United States is for like they do their courses in the first year and decide their thesis of their PhD in the next 3 4 years. But in the UK, when you get into a PhD, it's something like you just start with the research right away because you had your specialization and everything, the prerequisites is done in the masters. So this is my perspective of the difference between them.
Right. What do you guys have to add about that, Shivaz and Supritha?
Um, I would say like going by the UK, I have friends like who have done MS from US and ones who are doing actually. So the thing is like they also have this kind of curriculum. They have it's a span of like they have typically 4 semesters. We have like 2 semesters where we study like in Edinburgh. I don't know about other universities. Like we have 180 credits that we need to do. So 180 is divided into 60 across, so it's more intensive. I feel like doing the same stuff in like 1 year. You're getting a degree in 1 year compared to the US. So US, it's like job opportunities and the market is big. We all know like the Silicon Valley is there. But UK, yeah, as Satvik mentioned, I would say yes, the research quality is like you get top quality of research work here. If you want to go niche into the field and dive down, learn interesting stuff, then yeah, I would suggest this is a better option for going here. And in fact, you can go from UK to US as well if you want to go for PhDs. Like there are top universities that take students from there.
Yeah, even I have the same thoughts. Like before I was applying to UK, I had even searched about the options for US as well. But then yes, that was for 2 years, and UK was giving me the degree in 1 year. And definitely there was an option to, like, if I had to do it in US, then I had to take computer science, and then I had to specialize inside that. But here I had the option to directly choose artificial intelligence. So yeah, that's what like I had. That was my criteria of choosing where to go,
I
like
see.
US or UK.
All right. So now three of you are from three different universities. What I want to know is there any particular course or module that you found especially useful or interesting rather during your MS program? Also, follow up question: how does this curriculum prepare you for a career in the real world? To rephrase that question, my question is one which is interesting, and also if that subject is interesting, does it would it be colliding, as in is it somewhere like, this is what I am interested in, but this is what is useful for the real world? Have you guys ever had that thought? What do you have for the people who have similar confusions or thoughts? Shivas.
Yeah, so like having background in the softwares, so I know like how things work. So coming here, like there's an interesting subject. It's called text technologies and data science. So it seems like it's like too much related to data science and stuff. But actually, what we do is in the initial coursework, I built a like basic search engine. It's called a information retrieval systems. Like you have Google. So and in the my final like project that we have to do, we have to build a complete search engine. So it's like starting from the scratch. You have to build front end, back end, and on top of it, I have to add like some machine learning stuff of like uh, uh, doing some NLP techniques, or like predicting some training some supervised or supervised models for like displaying the results. So it's kind of like real world applications, since the data is getting big. And searching technique is search is like one of the most sought after thing. You can see the chat GPT which is growing up, like so it's going to take over the world. And you can see the relevance when you're studying those stuff. And like when you discuss with people around, you can see it has a good amount of relevance in the real world, like in the tech world at
Right.
least.
I see. What do you think about this, Satvik, in your course or in your university?
Um,
What is your take on this question?
yes, actually, I have a course called Human Robot Interaction. And
Hmm.
this is something like the professor actually emphasizes on human and robot interaction rather than the subject itself, because like, I mean, the subject is named that, but that isn't what we study. So we have to like conduct a series of experiment between the interaction, so that the human gets to know how technology works, or the how technology will evolve in the future, so that they can actually perform the course is like performing experiments repeatedly, so that the human can actually get used to it. So we have like different user bases, and we have to conduct experiments on them. So this is what I found interesting. And if we are to compare this world in a real world use case, the world is evolving, and I'm not sure if artificial intelligence will take over, or the robots will take over, or the physical or virtual presence. But if there is a chance that they will take over the world, I guess we have to be prepared for it. And this actually helps us like how to interact with robots, so that we can actually get used to it if they ever take over the world.
Right. What do you think? How long do we have?
Uh, it's too long actually.
You guys are the engineers. All I'm doing is giving you all my ears
Yeah,
and listening to what you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to say.
It'll take too long. Yeah, it's the technology is not too developed at the moment, and it's still in its budding up phase. So
Okay,
it'll
that's
take a
good to
while.
know. I have a few more years then.
Yeah.
What do you think, Suprita? What is your take on this?
Yeah, so like I always thought that AI is always about the foundations in AI or machine learning, but then I was made familiar with one of the subjects similar to human machine interaction, that was intelligent agents itself. So we just had few agents that are competing each other, negotiating with each other to like have like they just wanted to be on the same page, so that there was all kind of modeling that was involved in that. That was very new for me, and it was very interesting. So to make the course very like more interesting, our professors made a tournament inside the cohort itself. So we had different teams building different models, and then towards the end of the course we had to compete with each other, and there was a rank board according to which we were given marks on. So we were all like on the competitive edge, like, oh, we want to do this, we want to do that. And I guess that's where the future is. Like, people are building models, and everybody is competing against each other. Like, all the models are competing against each other. Like ChatGPT, there are other models as well, other platforms that are growing with it. Like, yeah, as he said that
All right.
they are going to take over, but there is
All right,
time.
Suprita, in your course, can you
Yeah.
tell me about any opportunity or any hands-on experience, practical learning experience that you
Mm-hmm.
had in your curriculum?
Yeah, so like when I was doing my bachelor's, I had come across an article that through when you can actually add the animations of or the motions of a video to an image. So I was very fascinated by it, and luckily I got an opportunity to do the same in my master's as a coursework, and it was very interesting. So, I had an opportunity to see exactly how it is done. Like, I had to do it from the scratch. So, yes, that was one of the interesting things, like from the courseworks that I had. And there were
What
many,
about?
but this
Oh,
was
sorry, I interrupted you. Go
yeah, no
on.
problem. There were many, but this was one of the like the interesting one that I
I know it must have been such a dream moment for you
had.
to
Yeah,
learn and see about something and actually
yeah,
do it.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
What about you, Shivaz? Have you had any hands-on experience which was so memorable or which you would like to share, or any opportunities that
Mm,
you want to talk about?
yeah, so like based on the sort of background I come, so I know like if you see uh, to do runtime optimizations, it's kind of challenging. Like I used to work in a like we have clients ARM, Qualcomm, Intel, so they used to take like runtime of 10 hours, 20 hours on running a design. So it's coming here I am learning like it's called uh, parallel design and algorithms. So you design
Mhm,
parallel algorithms which like run on multiple threads, and the runtime optimization you can see is reducing. So it's kind of like intriguing when you see something like which is running in like 20 hours, it gets reduced to 4 hours.
mhm,
The so those runtime optimizations like kind of really interesting stuff. So this kind of work, like I would say, part of real challenges when you do the coursework, you have multiple subjects, you have deadlines, so it's
mhm,
like really interesting and intensive. You challenge yourself, like learning different languages, going from C++, Java, Scala, and many more, I would say. In that respect, it's like really cool. And I also did like there's a course called extreme computing, which about
mhm.
which is about like cloud infrastructure. How do you run jobs like on the cloud? It's called map reduce, and those kind of techniques are used. So it's like really interesting, you learn a lot, that's for sure.
So, my question to you is, now you must have done your own extensive research when when you were trying to find a university according to your specialization or according to what you want to study.
Yes.
Many students here who are attending today are either final year bachelor students or who are just recently graduated.
Yes.
What is something that you would want them to do while they're doing their research on curriculum and universities?
Yes. First, I'd like to ask them to decide upon the specific role or the course they are going to take in or to opt for. And if they are decided on the specific course or a subject, then they should at least search for the universities that offer it first, because not most of the universities offer the course they are interested in. For example, my robotics is not offered in Edinburgh, but I was looking to join the Edinburgh for a while, but I wasn't able to because of this. And after looking for a specific course, then you have to get into the modules of it. The modules seems interesting based on the names, but you have to look into the contents before deciding on if it's what's suitable for you. If I'm from a mechanical background, and if there's a course completely based on artificial intelligence or machine learning, it would have been difficult for me for right after undergraduation. So that shouldn't actually affect you after coming here, because if you aren't actually decided on what's to come for, it would be difficult after coming here, because there won't be any prerequisite course, and it's 1 year course, so there won't be any help from the professors too. They would just give a the course would most probably for 6 weeks, and you won't be able to learn much about it. And after deciding on the modules, you should have to check about the prerequisites, just as it is. You have to see what's the course is offering and what you'd get from it. And if this is all done, then I guess the ranking would be this last criteria, because no matter what, the university has to be a better ranking university, so that even if it doesn't actually give the high amount of research quality, you will be able to get good amount of job just based on the name of it.
All right. Shivaz, I want to know from you, did you personally have any mentors while you were selecting your college or course to UK? And also, how important do you think is the role of a mentor in this aspect?
If you see, like, since I'm doing my master's after 5 years, so
Mhm.
I was in a like kind of a comfortable position. Like, getting a job is not that difficult for me, actually. But the thing was to like learn some new skill. So software side I knew now, but on the same hands, technology is evolving like every next day. There are new frameworks, there are new stuff which are ongoing. So I wanted to know, like, there's a heat which is going on about machine learning and those kind of things. So what you see from outside, like machine learning, it's not truly what like you're training some stuff. It's like you have base mathematics behind it. There's a lot of statistics and
Right.
those kind of things. So I just looked. So while like choosing for the, I actually thought of going to US also initially,
Right.
but then I was under the impression like I right now I don't think I will be able to invest 2 years, and I want to like do it with 1 year. So my criteria was like, frankly, it was ranking. Like I just wanted to like Edinburgh is like, considered one of the top in UK, and like in fact the research work is also great. So that was one of the criteria. But if you want to go for something, yeah, ranking matters a bit, I would say. But if you're like passionate about what you're learning, you're going to do great. That's not a problem. But one thing I missed was being an early starter. As
Right.
soon as like you just should, whenever like you get time, you just try to go through the course stuff and all, and do the application as soon as possible. Because whenever you are early starter, you have an upper edge. That's what
Right.
is like masters is all about. Being like early starter, doing your stuff, being like what I would say. Persistent like and consistent towards your work, and try to do things on time. So, and this application process can be tiring, undoubtedly, creating so many SOPs, technical, and then you have to fill that application form is such like 7 8 pages, I don't know, I don't remember
Oh,
exactly. It's
oh damn.
quite of tiring. So yeah, visiting college websites, reviewing each and everything, you might not be able to understand at first, like what they're talking about, and then so you should like, I would suggest is to reach out to people in LinkedIn, especially the alumni. And now since I came across this Nebula, it's an interesting platform where you can like ask your questions and get your doubts clarified.
Suprita, I want to know, again, keeping in mind the fact that many of our students are just recent graduates or final year students. Uh, and me personally, when I passed out of university, I was very confused as to what I want to do in my future, a master's, or what kind of job I want. How would you advise those students to find a curriculum that caters to, I wouldn't say a little bit of lot, a little bit of everything, but caters to at least a few options? Or would you rather say that they have to know what they want to do to have a better curriculum or a better course?
Uh, I don't think so. There is a right time to know what you want to do. Like when I was doing my bachelor's, yeah, I had a faint idea that I wanted to do something with machine learning or deep learning because I had taken like the final year project accordingly. And then I just got placed and I just forgot about my master's, or I forgot that I wanted to do something in that. So eventually, when I started working, I saw that the technology is growing. I have to learn about this, and what better way to, have a master's degree as well and then learn from it. So I would say that, like, when you pass out or when you are at a stage that you want to choose something, it's not necessary that you know that what you want to do. But if you are confused, you can start with taking the generic subject like computer science, and then when once you arrive here, you have your course leader who guides you through it, all the subjects, how it's like, what all options are there, and what all subjects can be chosen out of it. So I had one of my friend who had taken computer science, and she was studying machine learning along with all the software subjects as well. So after choosing all those things, maybe towards the end of the course, you will be sure that what you want to do and where you can grow your career in that. So there are mentors, there are course leaders over here, and there is obviously the university websites which guide you through.
All right. Satvik, can you, well, coming from India is a big change for all of us Indians to, a country where we don't know a lot of people or we don't know their cultures and things like that.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the challenges that you faced during your MS in Computer Science program, and how did you overcome that?
First would be the complexity of the course. We would think that it's a bit complex compared to what we've learned. Like, I'm not sure, but the perspective we've had towards masters when I was an undergrad was like it will be too complex and it will be too evolved. We won't be able to
Mhm.
keep up with it. But I was able to keep up because it wasn't that hard. Because if you know your stuff, you know, and you'll be able to do whatever you want. I mean, the bachelor's is a bit underrated in the India, but it's actually quite helpful after coming here. If it's about the course, you would be facing some challenges with the the professionalism here is like quite normal because if you want to talk to a professor, you can just go up to the podium and ask him like if you want to like have a private chat. I have some specific doubts about it after the class, and they would actually be very glad to help you. And even if you are feeling down, you just contact a professor, like just send a mail that professor, I'm like feeling a bit down, would there be anything that you do to help this? And he'll actually invite you or give you some food. I mean, it's not something that's specific that every professor would do, but yeah, they would ask you to come over to their house or the faculty room and they'd help you mentally and everything. So it's like they'll help you a lot here, so it's not a bit challenging. And the culture experience, like it's like a complete change compared to what I've been in the undergrad, because people are here like a bit evolved, like mature comparatively, so it's a bit different. And keeping up with the different cultures is pretty easy than what we think, because most of them are humans. They have feelings, so it's quite normal. They understand what we are going through, and they do have the similar experiences. Just the culture is just a bit different, so it's mostly fine.
I see. Wonderful. Because I think one of the biggest things that Indian students might have is this intimidation of, seeing a different cultured person or a different person from an entirely different country.
Ah, yeah,
So this is great that you mentioned the fact that they're friendly and they're nice.
yeah,
Just approach them.
yeah.
So that's great.
They
Shivaz, what I
actually,
want to know. Sorry, I interrupted you. Please go on.
just as we fear them, they fear us.
I bet I can imagine. All right. Shivas, what I want to ask is you mentioned earlier that you have a little bit of industry experience. Now, how important is industry experience when it comes to computer science or just masters in general? Would you recommend students to work a bit before their masters, or do you think it's not that important? What would you say?
No, no, I won't say it's not important. Like you actually, since like we were talking about undergrad in India, so once we graduate, there's a difference. Like you can clearly see the difference, like between the undergrad education and the masters. So after like graduation, sometimes we are clueless, like what to do, what not to. So once you are in your like having a work experience of a year or two, I would say makes quite sense because you know where you're going and you get to learn a bit like whether you want to actually pursue your career in this or not. You get some insights, not the real work that you'll be doing, but at least something, because you need to start from the like very below. You need to do the bug fixing, not directly architect softwares, like that is that you get to know after a good amount of time. So it gives like if you have a work experience, it gives a bit of edge, I would say. But if you have like too long of a gap, then it's like in my case I have to go back to my studies now, studying for these
Uh,
many hours. So like remembering all those maths formulas or those kind of things. So that's hard. But yeah, I would say work ex would be a good thing to go 1 or 2 year. It depends. You can do some saving also, which is very much needed here. Doing like yes. So yeah, I would suggest that.
I see. All right. So my next question is for the all three of you. I think we'll start with you, Suprita. And the question is, how do you see the field of computer science evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? And how are these computer science programs and specializations preparing students for those changes?
So as we all know that the technology is not going to stop. You never know. There would be a new launch on Monday like ChatGPT and it will be taking over the world, or we get the news that the prime minister is getting replaced by a bot or something like that. You never know what is going to happen in the future, like in the next few days or in the next few years. So there is research going around in all the universities all around the world, and there are specific centers for that as well. And one thing I noticed about University of Southampton is that the professors, even if they are old, they are very well they are on track with the new technologies. Like I can give one example. I had a subject of complexity of evolution.
Mhm.
So the professor had a PhD student whose petition had just passed, and that was a very good discovery, or like it was really good. So the professor added that to the course module next day itself. The day the petition was approved, the next day he added it to a course module, and he taught it in our class. So that's how advanced they are. They are not going to teach us the old patterns. They'll always be on track, I feel. So, and I guess all the universities take care of that. That's what I feel.
What do you think about this, Satvik?
It's an ever evolving field, so I guess there's like a lot of opportunities in the future, even if it's like just not the bug fixing. I mean, ChatGPT is doing that for us right now. Even if we aren't able to do those jobs, I guess we'll become more creative and we'll think of more solutions ourselves, like what to involve ourselves in. And it is a pretty interesting field, so that I don't think it would have any downfall soon. And like it's like as Supritha said, like most of the professors here are like too updated with whatever is going on, and they actually like, if you have known about the chat GPT, people here are using to write that to their reports. And our university has actually launched a tool that can actually counter this. So if it's written from a chat GPT directly copied, they'll actually get to know. So I guess
Mhm.
it's an evolving one.
I see. I mean, that's wonderful effort from your university, but
Yeah.
must have been difficult for a lot of students. What is your take on this, Shivaz?
I would say, yeah, this field is like they mentioned, is evolving and will evolve effectively, but the fundamentals will always be there. Your data structures and algorithms in computer science, wherever you go, you need these two things to be as solid as it can. Like, it'll
Right.
help you in the long way. Doing anything, you have to write code. So those two things are will always be there. But yes, you can come up with creative ideas. That's for sure. But you don't get ideas like sitting here. I'll get idea. You need to do reading. You need to understand like what base stuff is there. So the interesting thing, what I would say is, we don't have a culture of like reading research papers back in India. We don't do. Here we have like specific courses where where they teach you like how to parse, like skim through a research papers, and what value do you get out of it. So because those are like pretty interesting stuff which is going on. And so I would suggest like reading technical papers is a very good way to go about like learning new technologies, because you get to know okay what they're talking about, because what they have written, it's not something rocket science. They have evolved it from the existing stuff. Even these we're talking about chat gpt models, it was evolved like uh, based on the work which is done previously on the language models and
Right.
evolving it further. So yeah, and like the culture out here is like really interesting. You meet a lot of people. The Chinese, they are like quite good at what they do. Very hardworking. I've seen like people from Bolivia, Greece, Italy, and that's the interesting part, I would say, of the masters. Meeting people from in India, it's only us. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the opportunity you get to interact with a lot of people, different mindsets, different perceptions, and observations, which is
All
interesting.
right. That's wonderful. All right. With that note, I think I'll give you the last question as well, Shivas. Last question for this session from me before we get on to the audience questions is what is that one tip you have for Indian students who are planning to pursue their masters in the UK?
I would say it's really an interesting way for pursuing your higher education, because I did it after 5 years of my graduation. I would have regretted if I wouldn't have gone, because I was like in a comfortable position back in India. But I wanted to. Now I'm challenging myself. I don't know why, but yeah, I think now I think it would be the right decision, because my thinking has evolved and it's still learning. You always learn whenever, be it in job or here. But here you learn with like taking up different challenges. So I would say just mainly would be uh, like be an early starter. If you are early starter and go through the stuffs, uh, like visiting websites and understanding what they are talking about, and what you actually want to learn. So, because you cannot be complacent if you're here and you think, okay, I'll take a day off, or you cannot, if you want to do like good, then it's very difficult. Otherwise, yeah, you cannot study every day. That is also a difficult thing. But you cannot be like afford to be complacent as we used to do it in India. That is not here. So yeah, it's an interesting journey, I would say, those who are planning. And even the pay differences working back in India, and pay differences also there, you can see. So that is kind of motivation which for doing the job one gets. So I would say, yeah, just focus is the most important key. Being focused and persistent, and yeah, you'll achieve it anyhow.
Awesome. All right. So, with that, let's move on to the audience chat. I think we have a few questions here. The first one is from Anusha. She says, what hands on experience do you get while doing MS in Computer Science from the University of Edinburgh?
Hands-on experience. I was talking about like the TETS, that text technology course. You built an information retrieval system. So it is like technology we are using here is language Python. So now I'm getting to know, okay, what stuff are like how the Google ranking shows. It's based on, it's called something like TF-IDF, term frequency inverse document frequency. So which is actually used in the technology also, but there are like quite updated models which Microsoft released, like it's called BM25. There's something Google came up with PageRank. You learn about those kind of things also. So yeah, the courses that you learn, it will have a practical relevance in the industry, that's for sure. And in fact, if I recall, I did a course in, like, since I was a very beginner in machine learning, I haven't done anything in the past. So we took a course. It's called Applied Machine Learning. It is about like they start from the scratch, opening a Jupyter notebook, writing like importing those NumPy like packages in the Python, and you train a basic supervised model, and you see, okay. So the first I remember I did is spam and harm detection, which is quite interesting. Like you're given a data set, you need to predict whether a particular like data mail that you're getting, whether it is a ham or a spam. So this is the first task I learned, and it was quite interesting because you get to know, okay, what is the maths behind it, how the like if you're using a basic model, it's called knife base. So how the maths is done behind it, those kind of things are like interesting. So yeah, there is definitely industry relevance which you can see if you want to work as a like in the data science field at least. And for the computer science also, like the courses that are there, on top of my mind, as I was saying about parallel programming, design and analysis of parallel algorithms, uh, those kind of things. Yeah, I would say, yeah, you can see if you do the coursework, then you get the hands-on experience. So coursework are like an interesting way to go about.
Right. All right. So we have our next question from Hannah, and I think Satvik, you can take this up. The question is, what are some of the do's and don'ts while doing MS in Computer Science from the UK?
Yes. I could say what are the do's and don'ts like before coming. While doing it's like something you shouldn't be like lazing off a lot. That's for like all the master's courses in the UK. And the do's is like, yeah, just as he said, you have to like start from the beginning. If you like just lays off in the first few weeks and think of like I'll be doing the thing before the deadline, it won't actually work because it takes a lot of work, and it will actually affect your like other subjects if you're just focusing on one subject also. So you have to start everything from the beginning so that you'd have time to submit. And uh, that would be the most important thing here. And the don'ts would be like if you are planning to like just get a, if you're not planning for a distinction, or if just you're just focusing on getting some marks and just passing, that won't actually work because I've worked a lot here and I was planning for about 90% of the marks and I've got 75. Like, I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, the report writing and everything, the quality of report, you have to like make sure it's top notch because we are having English as a second or third language, not the first language, and here people have it as a first language, and they expect us to do as their like local students do. So it will be a bit difficult for us to keep up with that. So the best thing would be like to start earlier for everything, and the don'ts would be like just don't be lazy. Do your work on time and just follow the professor's words. Even if you feel like the course is not interesting or something that the professor says that doesn't make sense, just believe them. They know that what they're doing. So that would be it.
Hmm. That's great.
Yeah.
So our next question is from Sumit. Sumit asks, what are the different paths to career we can take after completing MSc in robotics?
Yes. They are like the robotics is like a vast field. Everything comes under like the artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, even the designing of the robots from the mechanical perspective or the software perspective or the electrical perspective. Everything comes under it. So if you are planning to like look for a career in the graduate software, like there are mostly graduate roles here, like the software roles or the electrical roles or the mechanical roles. You can apply for everything, and most of the screening stuff you'll pass through it because the robotics is like a all-encompassing field, so you'll pass everything. And if you're looking for like research related fields, you just have to look through your specific research. If it works for your coursework, would that match the specifications and the prerequisites of the research? Other than that, it's like you can do like almost everything from the robotics course, because I've had like friends from computer science, I've had like friends from electronics department, and all of them are like working in different fields right now. A guy from the electronics is working on a robot design. It's like not specifically electrical design but just design, so he works on everything.
All right. So our next question is from Hannah, and I think Supritha, you can take this up. What types of research projects or capstone experience are available in the universities?
So it depends on the modules that you choose. Like there are modules that just require you to go through like the pre like the professors have a set of presentations that are available, and the notes, they just want you to go through the notes, and they'll give you an assignment and that's done. So there are a few subjects that are easier when you take up subjects that are more research oriented. So one of the subjects that was more research oriented was deep learning for me. So before attending the lectures, we had to read 2 to 3 research papers that were told by the professors before attending the lectures, and the entire lecture was based on that research paper. So if you have not gone through the research paper, you won't understand that lecture. So like it I would say that it's up to you what modules you choose. So the professors, before choosing the module, also the professors, the mentors, they'll make sure that you would know what you are choosing, and how difficult it would be if like there was an example that I wanted to choose one other subject, and my mentor said that don't choose that because it's going to be very heavy for you. Like already the other 3 subjects are really heavy, so that's when I chose the easiest one, computational finances. So like if you have doubt, or if at any point if there is any doubt that you are having, you have mentors, you have your module leaders, just go talk to them, just drop them an email. They are very responsive, so
Right.
it's not like they
Uh,
won't respond.
all right. So we have a last question, and I think Suprita, you can take this up as well. Hi, I'm from electronics engineering background, and I want to pursue the MS in computer science. So, what would be your suggestion?
So it's good that you're thinking of doing it in computer science. So you can choose subjects that are give you an overview what computer science is, and then you can have the option of choosing different subjects. Like I'm not sure about what university you're applying to, but I know about University of Southampton that they are open to all the modules. Like you can choose subjects from data science, you can choose subjects from artificial intelligence. So it's up to you, and just make sure that you're clear with, like, if you want to come here and pursue in computer science, just make sure that you're clear with the data structures, because as you said that without that you can't go anywhere. So just be sure with the basics, the foundations, they would teach you here. It's not that they won't teach you, but they would teach you for just like 10 minutes. So better be like, just go through it and then be prepared for it. That's it.
Awesome. All right. So I think that brings us to the conclusion of the session. This has been great. It was lovely hearing three different perspectives from, three universities and three different courses. So thank you so much to all three of you for taking this time to join us today. I think I can confidently say that we have gained a lot of knowledge about the computer science program curriculum in the UK and how that prepares you for the real world. So thank you once again. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, to the audience, we have come to the end of this Nebula talk. We have a lot more interesting and exciting Nebula talks coming up. How to stay in control of your applications, British Council STEM scholarship, and role of internships that play during MS in computer science. So make sure to stay for those as well to get the full 360-degree information you need to start your study abroad journey. Thank you for joining. I'll see you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Yeah.
good day, everyone.